All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you. And that is just to Daniel, because obviously I cannot see anyone else. But exciting podcast this week. We are recording an Arc to Triomphe preview, the highlight for both of us, probably, of the European flat season, barring the Judgmont, of course, or the International, as you like to call it. And yeah, we just thought now is quite a good time to do it. We're about 5 weeks, 2 days out. We're Obviously, next week will play a big role, but the anti-post market is sort of taking shape at the minute, and there is a potential for value to be had at this time out. We are anti-post punters by our nature, so yeah, it all makes a lot of sense. Two big things to consider: the draw. I've seen a lot of chat about the draw on X recently, about how large a role it has played in the arc over that 12 furlongs at Longchamp. Uh, Daniel, does it concern you? Does it affect the way you back anti-post horses in the arc, or do you just hope that it will all even out over time and you may or may not 50-50 chance get a good draw?
I'm often a very long-range punter for the Arc, and my first bet on this race is this year's edition was placed last October, so I don't worry too much. I couldn't know much about the draw then,
No.
and I've had a couple of plays since, and I probably have a little, a couple more. It's certainly true, particularly the softer the ground, the inside, particularly in recent years, has been. If you've drawn wide, it's very, very difficult. So yeah, that's a factor to take in mix. We're taking a look at the market as it is now and the prices, but the draw will obviously be a factor a few days before the event.
Yeah, of course, and yeah, this probably does have a shelf life of the next 9 days or so before the markets are strongly impacted by Irish Champion Stakes. What comes out of that? By the Ledger, could something ridiculous happen there? Christmas Day winning, for example, by a few lengths, and then most importantly, there are the ARC trials themselves. You've just bought your tickets to go, Daniel. Remind everyone what the big three races are that day.
It's the big four now. They've
Of
merged the
course.
three trials: the Vermeer Group 1 for fillies and mares, Group 2 Niel and Foy for the colts, 3-year-olds, and then the older horses. They put that with the Moulin, and there are two other group races. It's an absolutely cracking card. The weather looks set fair, so I think we're probably going to have a fastish ground Arc trials. So we'll see if the likes of Bay City Roller, for example, actually turn up. But yeah, looking forward to it. One of the great days in the French racing calendar, and it's completely empty. This is possibly my favourite day of the year there.
Wow, better than the first Sunday in October.
Well, yeah, because you've got a quarter of the people. You can get a beer without a problem. You can have a bet without a problem. You can go to the loo without a problem. You can get Wi-Fi. You can get signal. Oh yeah, it's the best. It's the bee's knees, Chase.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. The pomp and ceremony of the Arc is a bit more, and the historic significance. I couldn't tell you who won the free trials last year, but I could tell you who won the Arc last year. But right, let's move on. Obviously, 5 or so weeks out, we don't know the ground as well as the draw. We are not professional weather forecasters, and professional weather forecasters won't be able to predict it either. Anyway, what we're going to talk through today is this table essentially. So lots of colors, lots of names, but simply it is the horses and the best price that they're currently available at. Some of them clinging on for dear life, like Daryz, for example. And then these are color coded. Green obviously means they are heavily intended runners. Yellow is sort of flitting between the two. They may not. There's ground considerations, there's other race considerations. And then blue is highly speculative, where they are priced up. It would be a change of plans from what's intended. And also, in some cases, I think the trainer has even said they're not going. So, yeah, hopefully that is quite clear. And the way we're going to go through this is we are going to discuss the horses. We are going to attach a value rating, i.e. a star rating, so between 1 and 5, and that is our thoughts on their relative price at the time of recording. So 3-star, we think it's a fair price. 5-star, we think it's amazing. 1-star, we think get out, it's terrible. Anything I've missed there, Daniel, before we get into it?
No, I think not. Yeah. You can blame me for the color scheme, as in the choices. There were a few choices, particularly on the bottom right page, to me as in are they very unlikely? Should they possibly have been blue rather than yellow? But I've gone with that. Some people may feel, for example, Diamond Necklace on the left is grossly unlikely to turn up after the news flow, after the Jean Romano. But I'm keeping her in because we'll come to her in a minute.
Okay, perfect. Right. Well, we'll try and keep this brief, given we are going through, what is that? That is 6, 11,
20, isn't it?
22, I think.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll try and keep it brief. Obviously, front loading the front end of the market because that is where the interest lies. And we will begin with Daryz, who is best price 10 to 3. I think it's just AK bet that are 10 to 3. The majority are 3 to 1. He was 7 to 2 this morning or yesterday. So the money is coming for Daryz. And last year's winner, he's got excuses for the Prince of Wales. This maybe looks like an easier field. What are your thoughts?
I think he's the best turf horse in training. I'm absolutely clear in my, no doubt in my mind that that's the case. I am only going to give him 3 stars out of 5. I think it's fairly priced. I'll tell you why, because he's after this break, and he had a long break because his bloods were bad. He had medication off the Prince of Wales. He's going to come back in the Prix, and Graffel's already said he's not going to be 100%. So I don't think it's impossible that he's upset in the Foy. And in which case you're probably going to get better than 10 to 3. So, you've got that extra risk built in. I still think he's by far the likeliest winner. If he comes through the Foy and he wins that, then of course you're not going to get 7 to 2. 10 to 3. So yeah, only fair for me, given that he'll be undercooked for the Foy.
Yeah, that's interesting. And is honestly, I was not aware. So I think he is just the best horse in the race, most likely win. I mean, the main thing is that Maltese Cross at 6 to 1. The difference in price between the two. Daryz has been there and done it, and he is very, very, very good horse. As Dan's reiterated, so I think on the day he will be shorter than 10 to 3. Cool.
Fair enough.
Moving on to Maltese Cross. I'm certainly not particularly interested in Maltese Cross. I think 6 is very short. I don't really know what to make of the Derby form, i.e. I don't think it's very strong. And I think William Haggas is a pretty well-liked, pretty well-respected trainer, and that's probably baked into the price quite heavily. He's not often this bullish, but was it Haggas himself who wanted to go to the Arc, or would he have chosen the Legend? It was the trainer's decision. I'm not sure.
Very good point.
Yeah,
very good point.
So yeah, for me, he's probably only a 2-star. What have you got him at? And
well, it's
why?
interesting. I completely agree, and I completely disagree. I disagree in the sense that I think Maltese Cross is very, very good and getting better with every race. He was by far the best horse in the Grand Prix de Paris. Didn't get out, and then he gave all that weight away at York. But I'm going 2 stars as well, James, because if the rains come and we're looking at soft, heavy arc, I think 6 is a shocking price because he might not even run. Maybe he will, if Ward and family have put themselves to Paris the weekend, maybe he'll run anyway. But would you fancy Maltese Cross and soft heavy at 6s?
No,
nor me. So basically, I can't see 6s coming down strongly. Wait until you get 10 days out, and then if it looks fair and you like 6s, that's a different matter. I upgrade him to 3, 3.5, even 4 if we're going to get a good to soft at worst arc. I think he's a real player, but until I know the ground, I'm not touching the 6s.
Yep, definitely. Likewise. Okay, cool. Let's move on to Kalpana then. And I would almost pair the next two together because the prices are quite closely related in the sense they're same owner, same trainer. You'd expect only one of them to turn up, so it's all a bit higgledy-piggledy with who's going to turn up where. There's ground concerns for item with Kalpana that seem to be determined to win this Champions Fillies and Mares race at Ascot. So can you provide clarity on the situation here, Daniel?
No, it's a complete mess. The ITV interview with Prince Khalid Abdullah's son, I think it was, in the aftermath of the Yorkshire Oaks, was absolutely emphatic. He said, yes, she's going to go to the Arc. That was always the plan. That's why she was kept in training. And it's like, I even tweeted as much. It's just like, well, slam dunk, Kalpana goes to the Arc. Barry Mahon, racing manager, says almost completely the opposite, the other side of the parade ring 5 minutes later, 5 minutes earlier, I don't know. As you say, they've got 2. By the way, they've got another one in here, which we'll come to later. So like you, I think if it's good ground, if it's goodish ground, surely they're going to run item. And And then are they going to keep Kalpana? Even though I think, to be honest, absolutely ridiculous for the King George winner to go for a third champion fillies and mares. Absolutely ridiculous. You've got to go for the Arc. She was bitterly unlucky last year to be in the line of 5 horses who were 3 wide all the way around. They had no chance, and she ran the best of them. She's got a massive chance, but I don't know if she's going. I'm going to go as high as 3, though, even though I don't know if she's going.
Wow, what price does she go off if she was to run?
If she was to run, and you see, Item might not, right? We got Softish Ground, and I don't like Maltese Cross, so maybe she could be down to 5s, right?
Yeah. Probably.
Anyway,
it'd be on soft ground,
but I fear they won't send her. So I'm certainly not going higher.
No. Okay, but what about Item? Impressive win of the Jeffmont.
I'm in agony here because on the one hand, you're talking about possibly now the best 3-year-old colt in training. Sorry, Maltese Cross, but this is possible. On the other, you're taking a random guess with the weather. He is not going to run if it's a proper soft autumnal ground, right? So, but then you're getting 12s. Very boring. I'm going to go 3 again. It's a great price. You think he's going to go, but I don't know if he's going to go. I don't know if he's going to get his ground.
Yep. For me, 50-50 chance he goes based on weather or rudimentary weather calculations, i.e. none, but just 50-50. And were he to run, he goes off below 6s on a good to soft, good ground arc. So
yeah, agreed. Fair enough.
I think
maybe
that
on balance, maybe I should have gone higher than 3, but I didn't.
Okay, thundering on. Very impressive winner of the Oaks. Hasn't really done anything since, and the form of said Oaks is looking fairly poor.
Fairly poor would be, yeah. I mean, it would almost understating it, wouldn't it? I think is it Sugarloaf has embellished her credentials as a pacemaker since. Not much else. And I think if you go down to 6th or 7th, I think On Message, having disappointed twice after, has now won a listed race. Otherwise, it looks absolutely dreadful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
On the day, we all purred over it. We thought it looked brilliant.
Yeah.
Then she goes to the Pretty Polly, and she's a dull force. Did it come too soon? Was it a good firm ground? I don't know. We don't know where this filly is. I think if you want to bet more thundering on, wait until she's next week, because she's in the Vermeil, and we'll find out Wednesday, Thursday whether she's declared for the Vermeil. If she is, it's a statement that she's back, and it's a statement of intent, isn't it? Yeah. Then I would change my view. Right now, I'm 1 star for thundering on.
1 star. Wow.
I wouldn't go near her with a barge pole at the moment. When the news flow changes, you'll get enough of a price. You don't have to wait for example, if she starts at 4-1 for the Vermeil, second favourite or something like that. You could think, oh, hang on, I'll have a bet on the Arc as a proxy there. That would be a different matter, but not now. We don't even. She's been off since the Pretty Polly. When was that? Was that June? Late June?
Yes. Yeah, it would have been.
I don't know where this filly is. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I think I've given a 2-star rather than 1 star based on the fact that 3-year-old fillies get so much weight in this, and Joseph O'Brien having a season of all seasons, and he is he's a terrific target trainer. So if this is his target, and he's had this date circled since mid to late June, in him I trust. Right, Bay City Roller, 16s. Oops, I'm too keen on the trigger there, and they're probably not the right things. Bay City Roller. So he was a pretty impressive winner at Epsom as well. The following day after thundering run. That was the last time he turned out. He needs soft ground, being a new bay, and also just his general run style. Do you trust the form of that Coronation Stakes win? It looks like it was a bit of a mess in behind.
You could argue that, but I think this guy is top draw given his conditions, and it's as simple as that. I don't think every single horse underperformed on that ground, even though some clearly did. His second on ground that was much too fast behind Almacam in Ireland was, we know, more confirmation now. Almacam is a proper horse. That wasn't Bay City Roller's ground. He was narrowly beaten in the Niel last year on ground that was too fast. If he gets his ground, he's lethal. If I knew it was soft ground, he'd be 5 stars, James, but he's 4 as it is.
Yeah.
He's one I really, really like.
Yeah, I agreed. Essentially, I think soft ground, he will run very well, and similar situation where this has been his target. Cool. Minnie Hauk is next in the betting. She is currently 20-1. Not the season we expected from Minnie Hauk. She ran very well in the Prince of Wales, but for me, the Yorkshire Oaks race suggested that she's just not top class anymore.
You could be right. And if you were to ask me to do these stars the moment they cross the line in the Yorkshire Oaks, I'd make a 1 star, because that's what is it 4 dull rounds out of 5 this season. Only the second behind Ombudsman in the Prince of Wales was a really decent run. The rest are like meh or plain bad. However, I'm going from 1 star to 3 stars on Minnie Hauk, just because the news, just because of what AOB said. He just said, yeah, we thought she ran well. We're not going to change the plan. She was always going to go to the Arc, and that's where she'll go. And that is suddenly, okay, so it was always the plan to go to the Arc. She's now going to have a proper break, first time this season. We know he'll get her there in pitch condition, whatever condition she's able to run to. You might have a point, she's not the filler she was. We also know she goes on any ground, right? Because she's got that Arc run on nasty conditions. She's got the Yorkshire Oaks from last season on rattling conditions. So she's going to go. She's ground versatile. And is it possible that AOB can get her back? Yes, I think 20s is perfectly fair enough. I wouldn't particularly, want to be someone came to me and said, I want 50 grand on Minnie Hauk to win the Arc at 20-1. I wouldn't be taking it, right?
Well, yeah, I hope you don't have well, not that I hope. I hope you do have, but I would say it's kind of insane if you're laying 50 grand as 20-1. I think I'd be questioning your sanity and be interested in.
I just wanted a cool million as a return. That's all. And maybe my maths is out. Maybe that's not what I got to. I think it is.
No, it would be. It would be. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. 2 words for me. Oh, 3 words. I don't actually remember how pacemaker said, but potential pacemaker. If one of the Colts goes, I think she should pacemake 2 in that. Also, degrade her chances. They did it with Magical, that's all I'll say. And I'd say Magical is probably a classier affiliate or a classier filly, especially this season. Right, Diamond Necklace. She's next up. Another Aidan O'Brien. This time she is the 3-year-old. She had a perfect record and was probably a good bit shorter until she disappointed behind Aventure last weekend. What's Aidan O'Brien's comments on where she'll go? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, now that news flow is very interesting. He was saying, for the first times ever, rather than making excuses, he said she was beaten by a better filly on the day, which is actually not the normal thing he says. There's normally some reason why a really good horse of his hasn't won at the highest level. But he just said, we're going to give her a few weeks off and bring her back and make a plan. And suddenly it's massive downgrade territory. So she's unless he changes his mind, that was a spur of the comment moment that he goes back on these. She's also not going to be declared for the Vermeer. Well, do you step up to the Arc for the first time in the Arc itself? I mean, she's good enough to be a player, isn't she? I mean, that was the best race of Aventure's life, and Aventure's finished a length and a bit second in an Arc herself. It was no disgrace. She ran well in the Jean Ramonnais, but I think the lads and AOB were shocked to see her beaten, and they want to take stock and think about it. And it seems unlikely. 20s is big, so I'm only going to go 2 stars rather than 1 because she's so talented. But I just don't think this is the plan.
No, I really don't think it's the plan. I think it would be quite crazy to just chuck her in here. It would need something to go wrong with Minnie Hauk. Benvenuto were he to go, then I think maybe Constitution River would be more likely to go. So I think it would require a few unlikely outcomes for her to take place in this race. Constitution River next up, 25s. Do we have any idea what they're looking to do with Constitution River?
Yes, he's been firmed up as probably for the Irish Champion Stakes.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always favourite or close to favourite. There was a few days ago, there was a little move for Benny, wasn't there? 5-1, 9-2, 4, in that went, it's now 4-1. But then he's hardened since whatever said, Constitution River, he's good. The Irish Champion Stakes, that's what we're thinking. They haven't, as far as I know, at any point this year, said anything beyond. And, they did do Umanar over the Derby, didn't they, for him, for 12 furlongs. It's pretty unlikely they're going to take him up to 12 furlongs for the Arc, you would have thought, yet. 25s is big, James. And in fact, to be fair, honest, if you want to back him speculatively, go on to Betfair and take something in the 30s. But I'm only going to go 3 stars because I still think he pulled he pulled. He also stumbled. Did you see in the judgment? You watched it back.
Yeah. Where he went over
didn't
the.
jump the road. He kind of stumbled after a furlong. Then he got a bit agitated. I don't think he was at his best, and he was, up with that strong pace. We still think he's a very, very good colt. And if he runs here, he's what? He's single figures. I mean, without a question, he runs here. So I cannot go below 3.
Okay. It's a fairly similar story for Benvenuto Cellini, although you have the additional risk factor that he wants he wants faster ground. So does that mean you're going to make a similar argument, but put it down for a 2-star?
Worrying. I'm worryingly predictable, aren't I, James? That is exactly what I'm going to do. And mainly because, it's the same argument as Constitution River. The difference is it's going to have to be really decent ground and broad odds. Over a 25-year picture, actually, you do get decent ground arcs, and quite more often you'd think. But the last 6 years, Ace Impacts has been really fast. Otherwise, there's been a lot of really testing ground. Down to 2 because I doubt the ground. The spacing works for the Breeders' Cup Turf, though, which I think is his target, doesn't it? It's 4 weekends before. So
yeah, it could be done.
Yeah, can't go below 2.
Sparnua is next at 25. Sorry, the banner is hiding. Yeah, 25. So we've got her in blue. I know the arc was mentioned, but I think it's next year's arc, isn't it, rather than this one coming up?
This year's arc has definitely not been mentioned. It's been anti-mentioned in the sense that we really want another crack at Kalpana, Ascot, Champion Fillies and Mares. That's if Kalpana goes there, as already discussed. And we may take in the Opera along the way.
Okay.
So 10 furlongs, Paris.
So 1 star?
They would have to, this one, as far as I know, if I'm right in saying, she's not actually in the arc. So they would have to supplement.
Yeah.
And the fact that he hasn't gone near it, and the fact that she was flattered by the way that race was run, and Kalpana having to do all that dirty work, chase down loose on the leads, Sugarloaf. I wouldn't like her anyway, and I don't think she's going. If I could go below 1, I would for this one.
Yeah, cool. Okay, Almakam is next up. He is best price 25s. His target is the Champion Stakes. Hopefully, we put up an article and for the Champion Stakes, and it would be a major concern were he to turn up here.
It would require a complete volte-face on the part of Ed Walker. I will say Ed Walker is a lovely guy, and he's a great trainer. But if I had to rank trainers in order of how often they change their minds, Ed Walker's quite high up there. He can be tempted into things. Kieran Schumacher today in an article about his weekend run has also mentioned Almakam, and he said, he's in the Irish Champion, he's in the Champion Stakes, he's in the Arc. I don't know what the plans are. Ed Walker has mentioned the word Arc and then just kind of ceased to mention it recently. But if they're looking at soft ground for a lot of dropouts, and they just think, hang on, when we ran Almakam, because they ran him in the Niel, didn't they, last year? But it was the Foy. Sorry, it was already 4. He ran him in the Foy. It was, pretty fast ground. And there must be itching to try him before going to stud once. On balance, I think they'll resist, but I'm daring go below 3 stars because if they run him,
wow.
Yeah, I'm going as high as 3. I wouldn't back him, but he's the one I think might come in. And, a bit like, if Constitution River had come in, not quite as extreme, but in terms of the price crash, there would be a significant one. So I'm not going below 3.
Yeah, there is. I mean, maybe I'd have him 5s to start the race, and I don't think he's going off 5 to 1 or lower were he to turn up. So 2 star for me. Probably even close to 1 star. Maybe he's 8s to turn up. Who knows? Who can measure it? Maybe Ed Walker doesn't even know the accurate price right now. Probably doesn't. Next up, we've got Aventure. So she is highly unlikely to go, right?
Yes, both the racing manager and the trainer said exactly the same thing after the Romane win over Diamond Necklace. This mare has got more speed as she's got older. We regret running her in whatever race it was, where she was fourth behind, I can't even remember what it was, 12 furlongs somewhere in the summer in Paris. The plan is the Opera and then possibly the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. They would have to completely change their minds, so it's 1 star.
Yep, likewise. Okay, we put this horse up next to the betting, excuse my pronunciation, Mishu Tabaru at 50s. Therefore, 33s, we're about 2 months closer. There's no new news flow. I don't mind 33s. Sorry, but I'm not sure what you're about to say.
You're correct in what you were about to predict. I still think my Tableau is attractive. Not the 5-star would have gone for 50-1 because we know I can get 50-1. But I still think that European punters, bookmakers, I don't think anyone has quite realised two things. One is this horse is definitely coming over, as you can see from the green banners on the screen. There are not that many horses who are absolute definites for the art. My Tableau is one. He is a 2-time Group 1 winner. His last 2 runs are a narrow defeat by Croix du Nord and beating of Croix du Nord, who is Japan's top middle distance horse, who beat Daryz last year, by the way, in their art prep before it all unraveled for him in the art, maybe soft ground. I don't know, even though the prep was actually quite soft. My Tableau is a decent horse. I do have some doubts about 12. I think probably 11 is his best distance. If it was heavy, it's like, I'm not sure. But he'll make his own running. He runs forward. He might even front run it. He keeps going. And crucially, this is the crucial thing, this horse appreciates a bit of dig. I think it's completely off the European radar. He'll come onto the radar and he will start shorter than that.
Okay, that's my Tableau. Yeah, agreed. Hopefully the jockeys before the Japanese jockey sides do a bit better than they did the other day in the Jacques de Mora, where I was disappointed by their decision making. Next up, we've got Admire Terror, and you'll need to tell me about this horse because, to be honest, I'm not familiar with him.
He's a decent Japanese horse. He's definitely not a top level Japanese horse. He's coming over. I think he was pretty poor in his last run, but the trainer then said afterwards, no, plan the arc is still the plan. I've no idea why he's 40-1. He is the one that should be 100-1. He should be nowhere near my Tableau's price. Sorry, and I have doubts about him on proper soft ground. The only thing I'd say is he's a very attractive price. If you go on the exchanges where you can get 370-1,
okay,
don't take the 40s, please.
Yep. Okay, cool. Next up, we've got Varandir, who was a pretty exciting Graffard horse. He actually went off favourite in the, I forget, the Grand Prix de Paris, which Maltese Cross
Or Grand Prix
won.
de Saint-Cloud, I get them mixed up. No, you're right, it was Paris, I think. Yeah, the Maltese Cross, we'll call it.
If you excuse that run, he's unexposed, Graffard horse in the Aga Khan silks, but what does the line of blue tell us?
Well, the positives are, of course, he was only beaten 3/4 of a length in that. It was bunch finish, but also it was about the fastest ground I've ever seen recorded in France. It was rattling fast, and that might not be to his liking. He's unbeaten before that. The negatives are there's 0 news flu that he's being targeted at the arc. Absolutely none at all. And of course, he's the same colours as Daryz, and why would they? But he belongs on the slide. Highly speculative, but if it's soft ground, he'd be an unknown quantity. I'd be mildly interested. I'm going to go 3.
Okay. Yep, I agree. Just based on the big price, the silks connections, and the fairly unexposed nature of this horse. He's got potential, one to follow going forward, no matter what race he goes to. All right, next up, we've got Geffen. He's a bit overhyped for my liking, Geffen. I think a horse that has not won me over at all. His form on soft isn't great. His form in the Eclipse, where he ran pretty poorly, I don't see it at all with this horse.
A friend of mine is friendly with the former owners, and apparently they were incredibly excited. They did have the Derby winner last year. You remember he got injured, and he was off for a while. He's very talented. I think you can forgive him. Last time, wasn't it too fast when he faded? Was it in the Coral Eclipse?
It was, yeah.
I don't think he wants ground that fast. Don't know what he can do over 12 furlongs. I'm not going below 3 stars because he's 50-1. I'm not backing him at that price, but it's probably pretty fair. I think there's talent there if he goes. The trouble is the news flow is that it's one of various options. Is it Burrows? Owen Burrows. He hasn't decided where this horse is going yet. So yeah, you're guessing as to whether he'll turn up.
Yeah, range of options, and I'm not sure he's going to go off a particularly short price. Okay, next up in the betting, we have got Qualificar at 50s.
No, that's very, very clear, very straightforward for me. 5 stars, please. And 5 stars because, and this is not me, am I encouraging people to back it? It's speculative. It's not impossible he doesn't go to the arc, but his form is properly muddied and dirtied up. He was beaten last time out when favourite. having been, and this is what Fabre does, having let the horse down after he ran so well, what, a length behind Kalpana again? And he let him off for a few weeks, and he's building him back up, and that was first run back. They knew he'd run, mediocrely, in exactly the same way the previous race, when he was 7-10 favourite for that same race, and he was beaten 4 lengths by Alohi Ali, and just speed off it. Then he comes back and wins the Niel last year, and Fabre has on record for saying afterwards he was confident about Qualificar going to last week's Arc, and it all went wrong for him. He thinks he's a very, very good horse. He thinks he's strengthened this year. He will either go to the Foy or possibly, if they duck Daryz, to another prep. But I think he's massively dangerous and he's completely overpriced. There is a risk that maybe he doesn't run so well, and he doesn't come back to the form that I think he is, and Fabre much more importantly thinks he is. That's all in the 50 to 1. I can easily see Qualificar starting at somewhere in the 10 to 16 to 1 range, easily.
Okay, wow. Yeah, and you'd be too short at that price probably. I don't know. I'm 4-star, but basically based off of your positivity towards this horse over the years. Sunley is next in the betting. Got some slightly better form this year than last, so she seems to be improving. It's still fairly lightly raced, but it is Judgmont. Are they going to chuck another one into here?
That's the thing. I'm agonizing between 3 or 4 stars. I'm going to go 3 because that's really the point, isn't it? If they've got 2 others, and they're definitely going to win one of those. But why I'm tempted to go 4, and I'm still agonizing. Give me another few seconds while I decide. Oh, you put it on screen. Right, I can't commit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, having not gone to the Yorkshire Oaks, she is going to the Vemay. And she might, I haven't done my final work, sort of pre-prep work for the May yet, but she might start favourite for that race now that we think, Diamond Necklace is not going to go there. Aventure is almost certainly not going to go there. So she goes favourite to the Vemay. She wins the Vemay. Is she 50 to 1 for the Arc? I think not. So if I could change it now, I might go 4. But there's a lot of risk there. Suddenly, Graffa thinks she's a very good filly. She was less than lengths behind Qualificar last time out. She thinks she's a 12 furlong filly through and through. Change it, James. I'm back to 4. I'm big on these outsiders.
Yeah. Okay.
But might not. Big chance she might not run. I'm still going to say 50s is crazy. She wins the Vemay. She's 16s.
Okay. Christmas Day won the Derby. He was then second in the Irish Derby on better ground, but then was pretty disappointing in the Voltage of the other day. Target is the Ledger. Ledger runners have a terrible record in the Arc, but also maybe you want to excuse the Voltage run because Aidan often sort of takes his foot off training wise his Ledger runners when it comes to running in the Voltage. If you look back to,
he made that point this year as well. Yeah, that he was building them up. Yeah.
Who's the horse I'm thinking of that beat Lati Dar? And also Stradivarius for the first time. I've completely forgotten, but that's unimportant. Either way, 50s. Aidan, he also does have a tendency to run his Ledger winners in the Arc, and for that reason, I think 50s is mildly interesting. I'm
sorry to sound like a broken record, but I'm 4 stars again, merely because if it's a good ground Arc, he's got no chance. If he doesn't win the Ledger, he's not going to go there anyway. But if it's a soft, bordering heavy ground Arc, you look through this field, how many of these will actually thrive for conditions like that? Maybe Basically Roller. Maybe Almacam handles it really, really deep. You're struggling to find horses that want it hot deep. This guy will go through it, and 50s would be massive. So yeah, I'm staying on 4.
Okay.
Rather than what is he 74 for the Ledger?
Yeah.
Let's imagine you had a tenner and you want to put a 10 on Christmas Day. Do you want to put on a 74 for the Ledger, or do you want 510 quid back if he wins the Arc, having won the Ledger? I have more fun with the latter bet myself.
Yep, likewise. Okay, Pilled Majesty. I do not know the French form well enough or their intended target, so you're gonna have to take it away on this one.
Almost unbeaten in the last 5 runs. Very talented horse. The small fly in that ointment is the Prix du Jockey Club, where we put him up at big price, 25 to 1, and he went off much shorter than that, and he ran terribly. Or on one point, he went out like a light in the last furlong and a half. I don't quite know why. I don't think it was the trip. He's won very well since. He's going to go to the Foy or the Prince d'Orange as a prep, and then they'll see about the art. They don't know he can do 12 furlongs yet, right? So I prefer he went to the Foy and they found out. Sorry, the Niel, apologies, his 3-year-old. 50s is fair. 50s is fair. I have no reason why this guy should go there, but I do think he's a talented. If there's a completely left field horse on this list that is not on most English and Irish punters' radar, who just might come into the art picture, it's Pearl Majesty, but yeah, I'm a bit skeptical. 50s is quite big.
So 3?
It's 3. Yeah.
Cool. All right, last horse we will talk about, Pierre Bernard. You can see him there down at the bottom. We're about to cover up his name. He is 66s. I think my rating here is just somewhat chosen out of spite for this horse. I really just don't seem to like him. But I think 66 is too short. He's not good enough. If he places even in an arc, I'll be grossly disappointed.
I'm with you. It's a 1. I think you should confess to people or tell people why he's on there at all. He wasn't on this slide, but 2 hours before we started recording, Estrange was retired, who would have been an interesting horse to talk about, right? Middle of the left-hand side,
Yeah.
she would have been interesting mare. But so we had to get one more, and I chucked him in just cause I couldn't find much else on the list. And you said, really? Come on, surely we've got, and you mentioned another horse, which I'm not going to dignify the name. I had to veto that. If I had put another one, actually, it might have been 100 to 1 shot Arrow Eagle, who finished like a train into 5th last year. Anyone wants to take some of the other 860 to 1 on Betfair, I've taken the rest. I've left a few pound up for anyone else. He's the only wild outsider I've interested in. Pierre Bonnard now, I can't have him. Also, after last year, I thought he liked soft ground, but his best form this year has quite clearly come on faster going. So no, I don't see it.
Yeah, pacemaker duties await Pierre Bernard going forward, I reckon. And that's probably a compliment to him. Sorry, that's mean based off what Aidan O'Brien uses as his pacemakers. But cool, right? That is the important horses ran through in the ARC picture. And trying to think, 5 stars. There was 1 5-star, and it was Qualificar.
From me, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite speculative, but at the price. Farber thinks this is a really, really good horse. There was a reason why it was bad last time.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Well, that's a wrap. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you've got any nice positions. I remember a year ago. Well, no, not to just sort of publicly discuss your betting, but the price you got on Daryz last year is pretty bloody good, wasn't it? Was it 14s?
I'd have to go upstairs and look. Yeah, that was placed a week after. There was a big debate on X about when they priced up Daryz in a double-figure price. A lot of people saying, "What a shocking idea to take that." And I think to myself, well, how many ARC winners who are 3-year-olds come back to defend their title? Not many. It was a good chance we haven't even seen the best of this guy yet. So that felt a worthwhile investment. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it looks pretty fantastic now. So, but let us know what you've got. Yeah, I do like reading it. Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. We've got a few pods coming up over the next few days. We are going to have another look at the Breeders' Cup on Monday, as well as the Haydock Sprint Cup. The Breeders' Cup, we'll be looking at the turf races. So for your Euros out there, it will hopefully be of even more appeal than the dirt stuff. So,
and you mentioned the Haydock Sprint Cup, the Winnie the Pooh race. Do you know what I call it? The Winnie the Pooh race?
I don't know.
And the rain came down, and the rain came down. Just saying.
Not a literary reference I expected today. Cool.
Well, it's Disney, not A.A. Milne. I don't think there was songs.
Oh, is it? Okay, fair enough. Right. I will speak to you guys soon. Thank you very much for joining. And yeah, goodbye.
Thanks for joining.